Let's check out a few examples of tipping points resulting in material consequences. In our first example, a pharmaceutical company has had a history of compliance violations with respect to FDA manufacturing regulations. Senior executives have informed the manufacturing site executive that they believe a material consequence is the receipt of a Form 483 plus a warning letter issued by the FDA after a site inspection within the next 3 years. A warning letter is a formal notification issued by the FDA that your site is in violation with some aspect of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. A key question is, what is the probability of the tipping point of a material consequence? For this tipping point to occur, the site would have to have a tough FDA inspection in the next 3 years. An experienced internal team believes there is a 50-50 chance that such an inspection will occur. Given a tough FDA inspection, the FDA consequence remains uncertain, but the material consequence, as per the senior executives, is a 483 plus a warning letter. However, the site could have a tough FDA inspection resulting in only limited findings or just the 483 observations. Now, if site management decides to take no additional actions at this point in time, the internal team believes there is a 40% chance of receiving an FDA 483 plus warning letter, a 10% chance of having limited findings, and a 50% chance of having only 483 observations given a tough FDA inspection. To calculate the probability of the material consequence scenario, you need to multiply the probability of the tough FDA inspection in the next 3 years and the probability of the 483 plus warning letter given the tough inspection, resulting in a 20% chance for the scenario. Similarly, we can calculate the probabilities of the other potential scenarios. If no additional investment is made, the tipping point probability is 0.2 or 20%. The internal team has considered a risk mitigation strategy of hiring an expert audit team to perform an inspection of the site to recommend remediations prior to the next FDA inspection. The question is, how would this change the probability of the tipping point occurrence? The team can't change the probability of a tough FDA inspection in the next 3 years, but the internal team believes the remediations would reduce the chance of receiving the 483 plus warning letter from a 40% chance down to a 5% chance, resulting in the reduction of the tipping point probability from 20% to about 2.5%. This is an example of a tipping point for a defense contractor achieving the material consequence of winning a major contract. To win the contract must first be awarded, which is not certain to occur and is assessed to have an 80% chance of being awarded by the government. Given the contract is awarded, the defense contractor, let's call it Company A, must compete with 2 other contractors to win the contract. Company A executives believe they have a 30% chance of winning the contract, given no other actions are taken to improve their chances of winning. This implies the tipping point probability of Company A winning the contract to be 0.24 or a 24% chance. Good questions for senior executives to ask include, what can be done to improve Company A's chances of winning the contract? What is the cost of taking these additional actions? What is the revised probability of winning the contract given these additional actions are taken? And importantly, what is the return on investment for taking these additional actions? Here is a tipping point example familiar to those involved in the pharmaceutical and biotech industries. To launch a new commercial product that is a prescription drug takes many steps that can be split between the work of drug discovery and the work of drug development. Given the large data set that exists from previous drug discovery and drug development programs, pharmaceutical companies have established the probabilities of success for each stage in the program depending on the target indication and a few other factors. This is an example of a representation for the work of drug discovery where success must be achieved for each of the stages of target to hit, hit to lead, lead optimization, and preclinical. Failure at any one of these stages typically results in abandoning the program. Drug development includes the work involved in clinical trials where success must be achieved for the following stages, including phase 1 studies used to evaluate pharmacokinetic parameters and tolerance, generally in healthy volunteers. These studies include initial single-dose studies, dose escalation, and short-term repeated dose studies. Phase 2 clinical studies focus on small-scale trials to evaluate a drug's preliminary efficacy and side effect profile in 100 to 250 patients. Additional safety and clinical pharmacology studies are also included in this stage. Phase 3 studies focus on large-scale clinical trials for safety and efficacy in large patient populations. While Phase 3 studies are in progress, preparations typically are made for submitting the Biologics License Application, the BLA, or the New Drug Application, the NDA. And the last stage includes the submission for regulatory approval and work to prepare for the commercial product launch. The sought material consequence in this case is a successful commercial product launch. The tipping point of a material consequence represents success at each stage of discovery and development. The tipping point probability is calculated as the product of the success probabilities, which in this case is about a 4% chance. Important questions senior executives should ask include, what can be done to improve any one or more of the success probabilities? What is the cost of taking these additional actions? What is the revised tipping point probability? And what is the return on investment for taking these additional actions? There are also timing components for each of these stages of work. Additional questions include, can we reduce the overall time to product launch? What is the cost of achieving this time reduction? And what is the return on investment for achieving the reduced time to market? As successes are achieved in the stages of discovery development, the tipping point probability continues to change and hopefully improve. As an example, given success up through the phase 2 clinical trials, the stage success probabilities are updated and the tipping point probability increases as we get closer to commercial product launch. In this case, the tipping point probability has improved from about 4% at the beginning of discovery to about a 73% chance of a successful commercial product launch. Here is another pharmaceutical example where the material consequence includes both regulatory approval and being first to market with a new innovative class of drug. Subject matter experts from within the company, leveraging a simulation model for the drug development process, estimated the probability of regulatory approval to be about 64%, with the timing of product launch resulting in a 2/3 chance or 67% chance of beating their competitor to the marketplace. The tipping point probability of regulatory success and first to market is about a 43% chance. In this example, a construction company uses a Monte Carlo simulation model to manage the cost and schedule of a major project. The client is offered a cash incentive for completing the project on schedule and within budget while ensuring all quality requirements are achieved. The uncertainty associated with risk and opportunity in the schedule and budget is updated in the model during a weekly project review with the project leaders. The material consequence in this example is capturing the cash incentive. To calculate the tipping point probability, the Monte Carlo simulation is used to estimate the probability of having an on-schedule completion or earlier, which is calculated to be an 82% chance. And once again, using the simulation model, the estimate for being within budget or less, given an on-schedule completion or earlier, is about a 70% chance. Multiplying these two probabilities together give us the tipping point probability of capturing the cash incentive at about a 58% chance. Good questions the project manager should ask include, what can be done to improve the chances of being on schedule or earlier, and the chances of being within budget or less while ensuring all quality requirements are met? What is the cost of taking these additional actions? And importantly, what is the revised tipping point probability, and what is the return on investment for taking these additional actions? Here is an example of a company that owns oil platforms in the Gulf of Mexico. A material consequence they are concerned with is hurricane damage to any one of their oil platforms, resulting in extended platform downtime. Damage to oil platforms is caused by waves. A 100-year storm implies there is a 1 in 100 chance or a 1% chance in any given year of having a storm with waves exceeding a certain magnitude and frequency. In this table, we have converted this information into mutually exclusive storm events. If we consider a 25-year storm, but not including storms of greater strength, the probability of such a storm in any given year is about 2%. Though a 25-year storm is less severe than other higher-in-class storms, there is still a chance of an oil platform having enough damage resulting in extended platform downtime. And this is about a 5% chance. Multiplying these probabilities, we see that in any given year, there is about a 1 in 1,000 chance of the scenario where there is extended platform downtime resulting from a 25-year storm. We can now use the same method to calculate the probability of extended platform downtime for a 50-year storm and a 100-year storm, and so forth by storm class. Adding the probabilities by scenario, we calculate the tipping point probability of extended platform downtime for any one platform in any given year at about 0.6% chance or less than a 1% chance. Now, given the costs of repair or replacement of an oil platform and the loss of oil production, this percentage chance of extended oil platform downtime might still be quite significant. The questions for senior management remain. What can be done to reduce the chances of an oil platform having extended downtime resultant from hurricane damage? What is the cost of taking these additional actions? What is the revised tipping point probability? And what is the return on investment for taking these additional actions? There is the issue and debate on climate change that should be addressed. Has the climate changed, making the historical storm class probabilities invalid and obsolete? A smart exercise would be to perform this assessment a second time under the assumption that climate change is underway and answer the senior management questions again. The answers to the questions will change, however, and importantly, we will be able to pinpoint the focus of any additional debate and decisions and actions. Sharpen your organization's skills in decision-making by adopting the concept of the tipping point of a material consequence. And for more information, check out our website and pick up a copy of my latest book, Problem, Risk, and Opportunity Enterprise Management.